I'm at a loss for words. I really am not sure what to say. I can try to say, I guess, just tell you how I'm feeling or something, but... So, the Belgian Grand Prix, it didn't really happen today. They're going to say it's a race. They're going to say it's race results. There was a race winner. There was no race today. So I'm a newer Formula One fan. So maybe I don't understand all the rules. Maybe I don't understand everything. But from what I've read from other fans on social media, what I've read from different motorsports reporters, today was not normal. This was not a normal circumstance, and this was not a normal result. I'm very upset with what happened. I'm very upset at how it was all handled. But before I get into that, I do want to say, no, I do not think they should have been racing in those conditions. Heavy rains all day long. There were heavy rains during qualifying. The track was wet. It was more than wet. There were puddles and all that stuff. So no, I do not think the drivers should have been driving in this rain. So from that standpoint, I think that was a good call to not race in those conditions. It was too dangerous. You would have been, as they were saying on the broadcast, aquaplaning. In the U.S., I think people mainly say hydroplaning, but whatever. They would have been crashing. They would have been spinning. The visibility was awful. You couldn't see the car in front of you. It would have been like NASCAR at COTA. If you are a Formula One fan who does not watch NASCAR, NASCAR went to Circuit of the Americas earlier this year, which is, of course, where the Formula One race is held for the United States Grand Prix. Conditions were bad in the rain. You couldn't see the car in front of you, and it resulted in some big, scary crashes, so they decided to stop the race to clear off the standing water on the track, which was a good decision for NASCAR, and they eventually called the race because the track got too wet. Similar circumstances today, except they did not run a single green flag lap. As a NASCAR fan, the rules I am used to, what I am used to is going to the halfway point of the race, and that's when the race is official. That's when you can declare a winner. If not, you push it back to the next day. I understand that in Formula One, things are much more complicated. You're traveling around the world. You're going to different racetracks all across the world. Cars are more expensive. Transportation is probably more expensive. But why could you not have waited till Monday? Okay, and they didn't even get close. They ran 0 green flag laps. They only ran like 3 pace laps today, or slow behind the safety car laps. I don't know why they would call that a race. I don't know why they would declare it official. I don't know why they would even think about calling it when it's not even close to done. There was no competition. People are saying, oh, the qualifying, it makes the qualifying more important. Qualifying's already important in Formula One. If you qualify 10th, it lowers your chances of winning a ton because, it's not like NASCAR or something where you can pass someone pretty easily. Formula One is much more difficult to pass. It's much more difficult to move up through the field if you have a bad qualifying session. And if you have a good qualifying session, you're more likely to finish up front. So it's already important enough, and saying that this makes it more important is a stupid comment to me. I just don't understand it. I understand they're on time limits. They have their 4-hour clock or whatever. I didn't 100% understand that. I know, it exists, but I don't really know why they have it. I don't know why it's a thing. I don't know why they can just randomly stop it. I'm kind of confused. You have this race clock, right? I'm getting so sidetracked to so many different things I could just go on and on about. I'm just really upset. I'm disappointed. It's been such a great season in Formula One, if you ask me. I've enjoyed the races. I've enjoyed the championship battle between Verstappen, Hamilton, Red Bull, Mercedes. And then we get this. It's just man, what are we doing here? What did I just watch? I literally watched, and it's not like it was just a quick decision. This was 4 or 5 hours, And there are people all across the world watching. I'm in the U.S., and I woke up at 7 a.m. Sure, it could have been worse, but, other people across the world, they're staying up till probably late at night, early morning, maybe 1, 2 a.m. to watch the race. Some people might be waking up earlier in the morning to watch the race. And it's just frustrating when you're watching it on TV and you don't really understand what's going on. I think the booth, whatever you want to call it, Croft and Brundle, during the rain delay, I felt like they did a good job of kind of keeping you engaged and stuff. and, trying to keep you on the broadcast, kind of like watching the race or watching the rain delay. But other than that, it was just frustrating to sit there for so long. And, it wasn't their fault, like the guys in the booth, because, they were like, all right, any minute now, we're going to get an update on the weather conditions. And they're like, oh, they keep on pushing it back every 5 minutes. Oh, but they're pushing it back. It's like they're not saying anything. They just keep pushing it back. And it's just frustrating as a fan to see that on TV, just not to know what's going on and not to get any information. But yeah, and then obviously if you were at the track, I feel bad for them. As Lewis Hamilton said after the race, I think they should get a refund. I know that's the track and stuff, but I think Formula One, FIA, whatever, should somehow get those fans their money back. If I was at the race, I would be absolutely furious if a race got called like that. I've been to rain-shortened races in NASCAR, but, you actually get to see them race. They have to reach a certain point in order to finish the race. And so, it's not that outrageous, but today was outrageous. I'm trying to keep myself somewhat calm, but for them to actually call a race like that so quickly, or not so quickly, but with only 3 laps completed and they were all safety car laps, is ridiculous. The fact that they are calling that a race, a completed Grand Prix, to me, it's ridiculous that they actually called that. To actually say that all you had to do is sit behind the safety car and that's it, basically the qualifying results are the results of the race, that is ridiculous. Credit to the guys who qualified well. Verstappen got the pole, good for him. Russell got on the podium for the first time in his career. That's good for Russell. He's worked hard all these years and stuff, but that's a pretty crappy way to get your first podium if you ask me. And everyone's going to say, oh, podium's a podium, but that's, if you're asking me, that's but it's a pretty crappy way to get your first podium. It's just frustrating to watch. It was just frustrating is the word right now. As a racing fan, just to watch them sit behind a safety car isn't fun. The conditions were never good. I don't fully understand why could they have not pushed it to Monday. It's not like their next race is in, Japan or something, or in Australia or in North America somewhere. It's not like they're going across the world next week. Next week they're going to the Netherlands. I think someone put it in a map, and it's like a 3-hour drive from there. I don't know if they have to go back to their headquarters and, get new gear and stuff, new car parts. But even then, like most of the teams I think are in Great Britain, and that, sure, you have to go over the water and stuff because there's, literal water there. There's a freaking ocean, but it's not that difficult. It's a short travel distance. It's just frustrating to watch, as a fan to see that all that happen. I'm just at a loss for words for the most part. I'm really upset with that race. It wasn't a race. It was a parade. It was literally a parade. If you were at the race, if you were watching on TV, you literally just watched a bunch of Formula One cars go behind a safety car and drive in water, drive in the rain. After the race, they're still giving out trophies. They're still acting like this was a full-blown race and stuff. And I think it's even more upsetting that they literally sent those guys out. They ran 1 lap or something under the safety car, and they said, okay, you need to run 2 laps in order for the Grand Prix to be a classification or something, for the race to be official, basically. And then later, like 2 hours later, like, all right, you know what, it's not going to clear up, so let's just send them out for 2 more laps, and then we can call the race and we can get out of here. That's so upsetting, honestly. Just so they can say they completed the race there, just so they can say, oh yeah, we did the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. Yep, we completed everything there. Max Verstappen won, so therefore it's official. That's extremely upsetting. I'm not happy at all. I'm telling you, if those fans don't get some type of refund, whether it be free tickets to next year's race, whether it be credit to another race of their choice, they should be extremely upset. Yeah, I understand that, you can't just throw money around, sure, but in that circumstance, that's absolutely upsetting. If you're at that race, I'm so sorry that you didn't get the full race experience, that you weren't able to watch an actual race, that you just had to watch them sit behind a safety car. watch them sit in the pits, wherever you were. That's super upsetting. And for fans watching on TV, I'm sorry to you too. It was a pretty crappy day for a fan to watch on TV or be at the race. But as for the TV side of things, it's super upsetting when you're on a different side of the world as the race. It's not just a casual afternoon time or something. And whether you're staying up super late, if you're staying up super late, you got Monday tomorrow, and that's a work day for most people. So, you're staying up late Monday, potentially taking out some sleep time before work to watch the Formula One race, and you sit around for hours and hours watching them hopefully get rid of the rain, hopefully get somewhat decent conditions so they can race, just for them to run 2 safety car laps and call the race just so they can call it. That's extremely frustrating. Or if you woke up early for it, I'm not happy. I really don't know what else to say other than I'm not happy. I could go on and on. I had a bunch of thoughts in my head. It took me a while to kind of get myself together and say, all right, this is what I want to say, but I really didn't know what to say. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head here. I'm upset. That race was not a race. That was a parade, and that was stupid, and that should never happen again. They need to do something. Like I said, with NASCAR, they have a rule where you have to get to halfway. I'm not necessarily saying you got to go to halfway, but you can't do that. What they just did is absolutely ridiculous. They should never, ever, ever call a race after only running safety car laps, especially when it's only 3 of them. I get it. Spa is a big track. It is a long track. It would take a while to dry that track, or it would take a while to wait for the whole track to get into better conditions, because it could be raining on one corner of the track and sunny on the other side or something. But the fact that that happened today is absolutely outrageous. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. That they just ran safety car laps. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. They got to do something there. You've got to do something. I think they should have waited for Monday. I really don't think it would have made that. I know it's supposed to rain there tomorrow, but I think you either run it Monday or push it back in the calendar. I think there's an open week in the calendar later in the season. Throw it there. But that's just really upsetting that they could have had other options, but instead they decided to run safety car laps and only do that. I think they could have pushed it to Monday. I know that there's the TV crew. They got their cameras and stuff that they got to take to the Netherlands. The drivers, the teams, they got to transport all this stuff, but once again, you're not traveling to the other side of the world next week. You are going just a few hours away. I don't know how the transportation stuff works, but it could not have been that difficult to go to the Netherlands next week, one day later, or to crunch everything by a day. It could not have been that difficult. Obviously, I think it would have made things more difficult, but it could not have been so difficult that we wouldn't have been able to get a full race weekend next week without problems. I'm extremely upset. That was a joke. 0 out of 10 for me on the rating scale. Formula One, FIA, you get a negative 50 out of 10. Whoever was driving the safety car, medical car, whatever, you get a 10 out of 10 for being a trooper, driving around that track in the wet, even though you knew that it was most likely not going to restart. Let's see. Mazepin, he got the fastest lap. That was the highlight of the day. That was hilarious. That genuinely made me laugh, because today was a joke of a day, and if you saw that was hilarious. George Russell, we're not going through the results just because it wasn't a race. Why would I go through race results if not a race? But Verstappen cuts into Hamilton's lead. Technically, they only gave out half points, which was even more weird. They gave out half points for 3 out of 40 laps or something. It was stupid. Today was stupid. That was a joke. I'm really mad. I'm really upset, as I've said 1,000 times in this video. I'm going to end up repeating myself because that's how I feel. I feel like saying this over and over again. But, yeah, Verstappen, I guess congratulations on your win. If we're counting that as a win, I mean, this whole finishing results is a Mickey Mouse result, if you ask me. Verstappen, good for you on your Mickey Mouse win. George Russell, took you forever. Obviously at Williams, he had a great qualifying session. That qualifying session, it was chaotic. It was fun. But, yeah, Mickey Mouse everywhere. Mickey Mouse results. But I am extremely upset. That was a disappointing morning. You wait around 4 hours for them to call the race, and then they just do 2 freaking safety car laps. They get your hopes up like you're going to do something. Part of the track didn't look bad that second run, but it just wasn't good enough. I was really looking forward to this. I've heard so much about this track. I've seen so much about this track, how good it is, how good F1 races are, and my first Spa race, first Belgian Grand Prix at Spa that I got to watch was safety car laps. I'm really upset. So, thanks for watching. If you're upset as I am, feel free to tell me in the comments if I'm unjustified in my upsetness because I don't know something about Formula One. Tell me in the comments. But, overall, I'm just really upset that I wasted 4 hours of my life, 4 hours of a Sunday morning, to literally watch rain fall and nothing happen. I mean, I thought they were going to at least push it to Monday, try to get somewhat of a race in, but that was a joke, absolute joke. FIA, Formula One, you guys suck today. Mazepin, your fastest lap was freaking amazing. Fastest lap I've ever seen in a race ever. Like, you were a rocket ship today. That was the worst race I've ever seen in my life. That includes NASCAR. That includes whatever other motorsports I've watched. That was outrageous.